The hidden struggle behind the badge, the financial challenges facing our FBI agents. Imagine dedicating your life to protecting others, sacrificing personal time and safety, not only to struggle to pay for your own home or even just to put food on the table. So, this isn't just a hypothetical scenario, guys. It is the harsh reality for many FBI agents living in America's most expensive cities. As I found out by reading about this today online, and I'm not saying that it's not a financial burden for everyone. I'm just pointing out the FBI agents right now, and I'll get to everyone else later. So, while the FBI agents, they're revered in their pivotal role in maintaining national security, many people are unaware of the financial hardships these agents endure, right? Especially for those stationed in high cost urban areas. Making ends meet is becoming increasingly difficult, right? So, in cities like New York, San Francisco, and even DC, where living expenses are sky high, FBI agents are feeling the pinch. So, stories abound about agents who share small apartments or they commute for hours each day to afford a living, and that happens to a lot of us, not just FBI agents, guys. But according to Natalie Barra, she is the president of the FBI National Agents Association. So some agents do face some tough choices between paying for housing, utilities, or even groceries, right? But despite their critical roles, the starting salaries for FBI agents in places like New York, they hover around 73,000, which is a figure significantly below the estimated 100 grand annual salary needed to live comfortably. So for a family of 4, this requirement soars to 150,000, right? You got more people, it's going to cost more. Clearly illustrating the salary shortfall for those vital public servants. Like I said, I'm not just talking about the FBI, but this is what this video is about because it's the article that I read. So the FBI Agents Association has stepped up advocating for a housing allowance. So they've contacted the DOJ, the Department of Justice, for the 2025 budget to help agents manage the high cost of rent and mortgages, right? So discussions are ongoing with both the FBI and the Justice Department, and they're actively seeking a sustainable solution with Congress so they are still able to do their job and live comfortably in the locations they are in. How are wages and housing prices related? Well, they go hand in hand. Housing prices and living wages are intricately related because both are essential components of an individual's cost of living, right? Living wages must be sufficient to cover the basic necessities of life, including housing, food, transportation, and healthcare. I don't want to get into healthcare, what I pay a month. But anyways, here are these two factors, how they're related and the implications of housing, or if housing becomes too unaffordable, right? So income versus housing costs. So a living wage should ideally be a reflection of the cost of living in a particular area, which includes housing costs as a major component, right? That is usually the biggest chunk of our living expenses or our living, right? Where our money goes to. So when housing prices increase, the proportion of income that must be spent on housing also rises. So if wages do not keep pace with the housing cost increases, individuals and families not just may find it difficult, they will find it difficult or increasingly difficult to afford other essentials. So economists and housing experts, they often use a rule of thumb that housing should not exceed 30% of the household's income, right? So when families spend more than this percentage, they're considered housing burden, which means less income or less of their income is available for the other necessities of life. So this could lead to difficult financial decisions such as, choosing to pay between the rent or buying groceries or basically seeking medical care, you know? So when housing becomes too expensive relative to incomes, it can lead to several economic consequences. Okay. So, excessive spending on housing, it reduces the amount of money available for other expenditures, right? You got less money, you're affecting the overall economic activity as consumers, and they have less money to spend on goods and services, less money to go on vacations. Increased commuting. So as people seek more affordable housing, usually in the cities, they often have to move further from their job leading to a longer commute, right? So you're way out, say in the country, because it may be a little cheaper, but this is going to increase your transportation costs and reduce your quality of life, right? Labor mobility, right? Recruitment challenges. So high housing costs definitely can deter people from moving to areas with employment opportunities. Like, hey, come on here. Like, we got this great job, but you're not going to be able to afford to live there. So that affects business recruitment and basically economic growth. So employers in high cost areas, so like the DC, New York, San Francisco areas, they may struggle to attract and retain workers, especially in the lower paying sectors. So over time, high housing costs, it contribute to social stratification, which only where the wealthy can live in certain areas, and that leads to economic and demographic segregation, which I don't even want to go into that, but that's just that's just what happens. So what happens if housing becomes too unaffordable? Well, as you see in a lot of places, homelessness. So as more people find it impossible to afford housing, they might be homeless, right? Greater demand for subsidized housing. So, we don't want to put additional strain on government resources, but that's what happens. Economic stagnation, right? So with more income directed toward housing, there's less available for savings, for investment, like I said, for vacations, for like your time, and they're crucial, right, for personal and economic growth. It's all related, guys. It's all like interconnected, like a web. So, high housing costs can lead to increased financial stress on families. Yes, it happens. Mental and physical health suffer, reducing overall stability in your life, needing more medications, which is more medical stuff. So, ensuring that wages keep pace with housing costs is crucial for maintaining a balanced and healthy economy. So, measures such as adjusting minimum wages to reflect the true cost of living, investing in affordable housing, and developing policies that control rapid increases in rent and housing, that can help mitigate these issues also. There's a lot of other ways too. I'm just bringing to light the fact that our wages are not keeping up with our housing prices. So this isn't just about the FBI. Like I mentioned before, this is a broader challenge for actually all law enforcement officers. So the financial strains by the FBI agents in high cost urban areas, it indicates a nationwide issue affecting not just them, but many branches of law enforcement, right? Officers at various levels, including local police, sheriff's departments, state troopers. They also face increasing difficulties as living costs continue to rise. So, this is particularly challenging because law enforcement work is not only demanding, but also increasingly dangerous, right? Making adequate compensation critical to support those who serve, right? You're going to be you're going to be in a more dangerous position. You should get more money. So increasing demands and risks. Well, law enforcement officers are often required to work long hours, perform shift work, remain on call for emergencies. So the nature of their work exposes them to dangerous and basically high stress situation, which you could say, well, that's what they signed up for. Well, yes, but whether it's responding to a violent crime or managing like large public gatherings, they do it because most of them love what they do. So the risks and responsibilities these officers are faced with daily, right? Because they're out there doing the work, they're protecting you and I. And I just want to say thank you if you're watching this and you are in the law enforcement or you have been prior. I want to thank you for, supporting us and giving us protection. So what I'm saying is we just want salaries to align with the cost of living. I want in my head, I want the salaries of people to go up, but I know that can't happen because we have inflation and it all is intertwined. But I'm just bringing to light the fact that we're getting to the point where housing in some of these areas is outperforming, it is more expensive than somebody is getting paid. So, like, without adequate funding, right? And I'm not choosing sides. I'm just saying that we need, at some point, there's got to be a solution. I know people are working on it. I get it. But housing is whether you rent, whether you're buying, whether, you're selling and you're wanting top dollar. Housing is where it's a big part of our life. It's where we need to be. It's where we are, right? You need to live somewhere. So just as the FBI, just as with the FBI agents and law enforcement officers, when they're financially strained, Yes, it's going to affect their personal lives also, but also their professional performance, right? And mental well being, right? You are having some financial issues. Sometimes you're not 100% on your job, right? So, we all can get burnt out, and we don't want officers to have to turn to corruption. God, no, we just want everyone to do their job and to be paid for their job, right? So, bringing everything back home, we have the housing prices. Like I said, they're kind of getting out of control, but if we can recognize the sacrifices right now by the law enforcement officers, and you want to ensure that they're compensated, right? So they maintain our public safety and community trust. So we could debate and develop policies, right, all around law enforcement, funding, support. There are people that are going to be doing that. I'm just bringing to light that just taking one niche, one sector about housing and how it's become unaffordable for their salaries, just bringing it to light. Um, and I'm not talking about Michigan. I'm just talking about the article I read. So it's just important I feel for you guys to know, because it's at some point in the day, I think this article was very important. I'm going to link it in the description. And it's not just about finances, right? It's about, you know, getting our lives in financial place. So whether you're housing, whether you can afford to live in your housing, whether you're cutting back on that, I think it was just important for me to tell you, right? It was important for me to tell you because our FBI agents and law enforcement, they commit to protecting us, right? Obviously, and often at great personal cost. So I just wanted to be sure to show them the respect that they deserve and keep the conversation going, until solutions are found, and hope that these everyday heroes, I could say, they receive the support they deserve because they're out there protecting you and I. So, if you're passionate about real estate and want to keep informed about housing issues that impact your community or our communities, like the heroes, like the FBI agents and others, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell for notifications. So, stay with us for more insights and updates on real estate and how we can support those and safeguard basically our nation every day. So, join our community as we explore all things real estate. Catch you next time.